Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 100 Girlfriends who really love you. And this time, we're not starting with a zing, but instead a shrink. And I have to wonder, how long will it take for the girlfriends to hesitate drinking something Suri hands them? Like, I know they're all friends, but this is Suri. She's still wanted at large for multiple war crimes committed in Eastern Europe in the 1990s. And in the manga, she even comments how she can beat Nano in sumo now, so it's okay to have some hesitation. But regardless, Nano is nanified. And I'm pretty sure this whole chapter is written as a setup for that pun. But it's a good pun, so I'll accept it. Speaking of which, it's great to actually see the Nano-Nanoda connection since it was originally supposed to be part of Season 1. Also, there's a panel in the manga here of how Shizuka's excited that now Nano gets to look up to her for a perspective change. And, aww, that's so adorable. But now we've got a predicament. Sure, I guess since she needs to stay like this until it wears off, they could just hang out on the rooftop and skip class. But Rentaro and Nano are stand-up students. They wouldn't want to miss time and miss Nadi's Japanese lesson rodeo. And I just love how this part of the episode demonstrates how amazing of a person Rentaro is. He helps out Nano by creating a pencil and notepad for her, which I hope she can read later on. The text is going to be kind of small, but don't worry about it. He protects her from the heights that she's afraid of, and when carried away by a strong gust of wind, he hops on Hahari's car and dives to her, saving her from oblivion. In the manga, he actually was dragged on the ground by Hahari. Lovingly, of course. But I don't know which feat is more impressive, because in the anime, he willingly got hit by a car. Either way, Nano is saved. They're back at Rentaro's house to wait out the remainder of the shrinking drug. And I guess I should mention it since it was in the manga, but Rentaro also made a toilet for her. And you know what? That's beautiful in its own right. What a guy. Now, back in Season 1, technically all the girlfriends at that point got to sleep with Rentaro, but Nano has a leg up on everyone now because she's now slept with him full naked out of wedlock too. So let's go to the next section quickly before this gets too much for this clean Christian harem rom-com. On the outside, Suri's house looks like a standard home, but inside are her parents. And knowing how the previous parents introduced in the series have been tied to a zing, it's nice to see that Suri's mother is safe. Of course she didn't zing with him. She's wearing Crocs with socks on. And was there any doubt that the Yakuzan household would look like this? I'm pretty sure they've got Eva Unit 1 in the basement somewhere. Suri's parents go over some adorable baby stories of Suri. But like, how did she develop her own drug at 8 months old? Like, aren't you still figuring out object permanence then? And Rentaro confessed to a girl at that age for the first time too. You know what I was doing at 8 months old? Pooping myself. Not much else. I hope I've improved. Anyways, this is all fine and good until Suri's parents collapse on the floor during, like they found their hole that was made for them. This is all a setup by a Nestle employee who's looking to coerce Suri into working for his overseas lab. Her drugs have the power to do, well, just about anything, really. So why not use that for evil? Rentaro is to the rescue because the theme today is saving his girlfriends, I guess. Even if that means putting himself in danger when he's the one threatened in the first place. Even Kasuri thinks that's dumb. But Kasuri and her drugs mean the world to him. Sure, they may have threatened to end the world, and as she puts it herself in the manga, she may have misused them before too. It doesn't matter. He loves her. She means the world to him, and he'd do anything for her. And he's not the only one, as Kasuri's dad reveals his true form. One of the Lystragonians from the Odyssey, since a random spy shot the negation drug tank and he throws him into next Tuesday like he's from Team Rocket. All is well. The day is saved. And this episode ends with a triumphant victory as Rentaro takes his reward. A zing at the end with Kasuri's grandmother? What'll it be, Rentaro? Are you going to date her grandmother now? We're getting a granny in this harem? We better find out next time on 100 Girlfriends! And there's episode 31, which covers chapters 72 and 74. Now, with all the chapters that have been skipped, I'm just glad we got at least one that focuses on a single girlfriend who was already introduced before this season. There's a bunch of chapters like this in the manga, but most have been skipped and probably will be in the future. So Nano's shrinking chapter is a pretty fun one to adapt. And hey, she just looks so adorable with the flower from Yamame. Maybe maybe new merch is coming. As for things left out from the manga, I've already covered most of them, but here's the extra panels for chapters 72 and 74. Interesting to note is that Kusuri's mom had her at 37, which I bring up because, wow, she couldn't be more different than Hohari, who is almost a decade from being 37 still. Yeah, Rentaro, you aren't going to need to worry about how to reignite a dying star here. Also, when this chapter came out, there was a week break for the manga, which, hey, at least you only need to wait till Sunday to see the outcome of the Zing in the anime. But it's hilarious reading through the Reddit comments when this chapter dropped and seeing people's reactions to the cliffhanger Zing, and they had to wait a whole extra week to see the continuation. Now, there is an extra chapter which goes over Kusuri's parents and how they met. And yeah, there was a Zing for them too. I do appreciate that characters outside of Rentaro's family have Zings too, and they are absolutely each other's soulmates. Like, Kusuri's dad wasn't this big beforehand, but he permanently altered himself to become the Hulk in order to save her from a spy. Okay, is this like a recurring thing for this family? Isn't there spy insurance they can get? Alright, I looked into it. There is an insurance company called Spy Insurance, but it's operated out of Georgia, and for cars. So anyway, this extra chapter also gives us their names because we have two new characters. The first is Yomigi Yakuzen, Kusuri's mother, who is voiced by Yuka Iguchi. Some of her other roles include Mine from Ascendance of a Bookworm, Subaru Konoe from Mayuchiki, Tsukihi Araragi from the Monogatari series, Hinata Miyake from A Place Further Than the Universe, Index Librorum Prohibitorum from the A Certain Magical Index series, Cowgirl from Goblin Slayer, Mako Reizel from Girls und Panzer, Maria Takayama from Haganai, Mirage Kishima from Valkyrie Drive. And given what's currently airing, she also voices Kichirika Kishirisu from Mushoku Tensei, and Krush Karsten from Re:Zero. Another thing to note is that looking into her, she also does a lot of modeling work, which is pretty cool. I might keep that in mind for later. And yeah, we've got Haruhiko Yakuzen, Kusuri's dad, who originally had the name Haruhiko Yakimaru. And yes, this is another character who took his wife's name when he got married, just like Uncle Hiro. And once again, I think that's pretty badass. I hope Rentaro takes all of his future wives' last names. Man, filling out paperwork would be pure hell, but I hope he does it anyway. Haruhiko actually has two voice actors for his different forms. His small form is voiced by Mutsumi Tamura, who also voices Kobayashi from Dragon Maid, Sayaka Kanamori from Keep Your Hands Off Azuki, Jonathan Marr from Jormungand, John from The Vampire Dies in No Time, Aramis from JoJo Part 6, Zorime from Darling of the Franxx, Lutz from Ascendance of a Bookworm, Alan from Hell Mode, and Yukio from Yatagarasu, The Raven Does Not Choose Its Master, which I want to bring up because I received multiple comments that I missed out on it back in 2024, and it was one of the best anime of that year apparently, so maybe I should probably get to that sometime. And his Hulk form is voiced by Mark Ruffalo. Kidding. But no, actually, he's voiced by Tomokazu Tsukita. And once again, this is another actor they got with an impressive resume. Who else has he voiced? How about Gintoki from Gintama, Kion from The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, Funny Valentine from JoJo Part 7, and Joseph freaking Joestar, also from JoJo, Hidenori Tabata from Daily Lives of High School Boys, Jack the Ripper from Record of Ragnarok, Katakuri Charlotte from One Piece, Gundam Tanaka from Danganronpa, Tadayomi Karasuma from Assassination Classroom, Gyome Himejima from Demon Slayer, Tara Kabakura from Wotokoi, Tara Sakamoto from Sakamoto Days, Yusuke Kitagawa from Persona 5, Kensei Muguruma and Nova from Bleach, Sasuke from Sasuke and Peeps, Lizard Priest from Goblin Slayer, and of course, since they're both airing right now, Japanese Rudius from Mushoku Tensei and Reed Estrella from Re:Zero. Man, every episode I've covered so far this season has introduced at least one new character, and it looks like that'll be the case next week too. So make sure you subscribe for more 100 Girlfriends and other anime content. Yes, I'm still planning on making non-100 Girlfriends videos this season, but I've been real busy lately and these 100 Girlfriends videos are my main focus right now. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.